Okay, hello everyone. I just want to notify you that today's session is being recorded, and hopefully we'll have these up on our website in the middle of the month. Could be a little bit earlier or a little bit later, but it should be on the website. So if you have any friends who see this, you can direct them to our website for this. Okay, and hello, my name is Jonathan Martins. I'm an International Engagement Coordinator for Education Abroad in McEwen International. And I'd like to welcome you to this session with Linköping University in Sweden. Before we get underway, I would like to acknowledge the Treaty 6 Territory Land Acknowledgement. We acknowledge that the land on which we gather in Treaty 6 territory is the traditional gathering place for many Indigenous people. We honor and respect the history, languages, ceremonies, and culture of the First Nations, Métis, and Inuit who call this territory home. All right, so today we are discovering the world through education abroad, and especially we are discovering Sweden through education abroad. If you have any questions about this presentation from Costas, you can just, he'll be sure to share his contact, but you can also look at our site, mcewen.ca/education abroad for process, opportunities. Our application deadline is coming up March 1st, so you can see the guidelines for that, the templates for the different documents. If you'd like to book an appointment, you can do so through educationabroad@mcewen.ca, or you can call 780-497-5397. You should have attended an info session before booking an appointment, and there's one coming up tomorrow at 2 p.m. And then shortly you'll be able to visit us at Building 7, Room 105, once we're all back at the office. So without further ado, Costas, I'd like you to share your screen and you can take it away.
Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you for having me. Really great to be here. And let me try to share my screen and my presentation. Now, I think that you can see the presentation mode, right? Perfect. Thank you
Yes, we
very much.
can. Thank you.
So, thank you for having me. My name is Kostas Mitropoulos. I work at Linköping University, Sweden, Faculty of Arts and Sciences, specifically. And I'm here to talk about Sweden, Linköping University, Linköping as a city, and how would your experience as an exchange student in Linköping University would be. And I take it that if you're watching this, you're interested or thinking about going abroad on an exchange. So let me start with Sweden, and let's try to locate Sweden on the map. So this is the world map. You are on the left-hand side, this big piece of land here, and Sweden is in Europe, northern part, exactly here. And I realize that Sweden is not a country that's very in. You don't hear a lot about Sweden. You don't see it often in the news. So, and I'm non-Swede as well. I come from Greece, and thinking about myself before I came to Sweden, how much I knew about the country, it wasn't that much. So, but on the other hand, you will discover that you know more than you think. So, one thing that I knew about Sweden was this: it's cold and dark, and I think that in that respect, you would feel right at home. Then I knew this, Nordic Lights, and you're very familiar with this as well, I guess. Then when it comes to branding companies, products, Volvo, big car manufacturer all over the world, not only cars. H&M, you all have been in one of their shops. Then it's the Nobel Prize, given every year in December in a very fancy ceremony in Stockholm. Zlatan Ibrahimovic, I'm not sure if you're football fans, but this is a national treasure in Sweden, and he's very, very famous. If you're into music, ABBA, very big in the 70s, and I would feel very, very old saying this, but they just had a new record out in November. So I think that they're back into the public eye. But even if you don't know ABBA and you think that they're dated or old, you certainly know him, Avicii. And last, and I was a bit doubtful about this. Oh, PewDiePie, sorry, I forgot about this. Very, very famous and very popular YouTuber. The last part is something that's very well known to be Swedish, but I was a bit doubtful about it. It's Spotify. And like a week ago, I would be very proud to say that this is a Swedish company. But now, after the your very own Neil Young furor with Spotify about Joe Rogan, I'm not sure how we all feel about it. But anyway, nevertheless, Spotify is a Swedish company. Now, what else? Let's take a closer look to Sweden. And my impression as a non-Swede when I first came to Sweden was that it's too much land for too few people. And that's what I say to when I present Sweden to potential students. Then, preparing for this presentation, I took a look to your stats about Canada, and I really changed my opinion about the statement. So this is Canada, and this is Sweden. Your size is a bit larger than the US, and we are a bit larger than California. You're 22 times bigger. But you have 34 million people in 9 million square kilometers. And we have 9 million people in 400,011 square kilometers. And this is, you fit 3.55 people in every square kilometer, and we squeeze in 22, squeeze in. So on paper, coming to Sweden, you would feel a bit more squeezed. But this is on paper because I think that the real life experience would be much different. Now, if we go a bit further, another interesting thing about Sweden is this, that if you draw a line at this, around this height, it's very indicative about the population concentration. So the vast majority of the population of Sweden is concentrated underneath that line. And the country above that line is virtually empty. Of course, there are cities, there are people living there, but nowhere near to the density that you meet in the in the south part of the country. Now, apart from a big country with not that many people, what else? Despite that, it has a very strong and competitive economy. It's one of the top 10 economies in the world. And this is mostly based on a focus on technology and innovation. They have very strong tech companies, and they always try to push innovation. Another aspect of the Swedish economy and the Swedish society is environmentalism. You all know, of course, Greta Thunberg and her activism. She's Swedish, and she's a very representative. She has a very representative kind of thinking when it comes to Sweden and Swedish society. And of course, all this because all this is based on knowledge, and Sweden is a knowledge economy and a knowledge society. This is tied to a very strong academic culture. And Linköping University is proud to be part of this academic culture. Now, let's talk a bit about Swedish culture and specific cultural traits. So one thing that is known for Swedes as individuals is that they are very reserved, very shy. They're not easy to talk to or to approach. But this doesn't mean that they're not polite. They are. And they are really happy when people actually approach them and start talking to them. They won't take the first step, though. And this is a very integral part of their culture and their personalities. And this has to do with modesty. Modesty is a very crucial trait in Swedish culture, and this is exemplified by the word lagom. They use it quite a lot, and lagom in Swedish means not too much, not too little, just the right amount. And that's how they try to be as people as well. So this modesty, this lagom approach, has led to trying to build consensus, trying to find solutions that are acceptable by everyone. And this leads to a very stable democracy, but at the same time, it's a democracy that it's liberal in a quite radical sense. They have found quite radical and progressive solutions to societal problems. And probably the most well-known of those solutions is the Swedish welfare state. It's a very strong welfare state. It was even stronger back in the 70s, but even today, the Swedish welfare state is a big part of Swedish society, Swedish economy, and Swedish identity as well. Part of this welfare state is gender equality. And this picture that you see here comes from the 70s. So back in the 70s, they started with what they call papalidig, which means paternity leave. And although it started a bit shy and a bit slow, today it's a common place to see dads pushing prams down the street or dads hanging out in a playground. And it's perfectly normal and it's a great image for society. Another strong trait in Sweden is secularism. So if you see in this diagram that maps out how secular or how religious a society is, Sweden is in the top right corner, all alone. And any other country that you know are secular, Norway, Denmark, Switzerland, are far back. And that's quite interesting as a trait. Now, another thing that all Swedes love is nature. They love to be in the outdoors. They love to hike. They love to swim in lakes. They love to camp. And this is a very interesting fact about Sweden, the right to roam. So what the right to roam is, it's the right to hike, walk, camp anywhere you like. You can pick mushrooms, you can pick berries or other fruits, and you can do that in any piece of land in any area. Of course, there are certain restrictions. You can't camp in the backyard of someone. But apart from that, any forest, any lake, any beach would do fine, and they do it. And I have to say that it's a great thing to feel, to experience this kind of freedom to go anywhere you like without fenced areas to stop you from that. So now, because Swedes are love to be out all the time, weather is a big part of Swedish life and Swedish conversation as well. And I think that when it comes to weather, you would feel like home. The climate is quite similar to Edmonton, and Swedes say that we have 4 distinct beautiful seasons, and that's true. Spring comes late, around April. Summer, middle of June maybe until September. Cool summers, around 20, 25 degrees, sometimes higher, but not that often. You have beautiful, really beautiful autumn with all the colors. And then winters are cold and a bit long maybe. They start around November, December. They can last until March, late March. And temperatures can go down to 20, 25, minus 20, 25. That's not often though, I have to say. I haven't experienced this kind of temperatures often. The usual thing is around -5, -10. Now, that's theoretically, because practically, because we live in the south, you can end up with this. One season, all rain. And that's not fun and that's not nice. And hopefully you won't experience that, but you will have this picture. Now, let's talk about a bit about the university. So Linköping University. We are relatively new, exactly like McEwan. We were founded a few years after in 75. We have around 30,000 students, and they are distributed in four campuses. The largest one is the one that I am right now, Campus Valla in Linköping, and it has around 20,000 students. Linköping has a second campus. It is the University Hospital, around 4,000 students. This one on the right, it's the Campus Norrköping. It's a city 40 kilometers from Linköping. And the campus there, it's really, really beautiful. They have taken, Norrköping is an old industrial city, and they have taken all the old industries and factories, and they have turned them into campus buildings. And the work they've done is really amazing. So there are about 5,000, 6,000 students studying there. And then we have a very, very small campus in Stockholm. And when I say small, 70 students small. And this is focused on furniture studies. So a bit more specifically about you as exchange students. One thing that we have to offer is a quite wide range of courses in a quite in a variety of subjects. All courses are in English, and this is a vital thing. I need to stress this, that the courses you would take would be all in English, and you wouldn't have any problem at all to live and go around in Sweden only with English. You wouldn't need to learn Swedish at all. Although it's all recommended, it would be a great thing to do, and it would give you a good feel of the culture, but it's not necessary. Swedes speak English at a very good level. So courses in a variety of fields, and you can take courses outside your core field of studies as well, as long as you meet the entry requirements. Now, when it comes to academic culture, and I think that probably we're quite alike there, there is a quite informal culture. You talk to your teachers on a first-name basis. This creates a very open and very nice atmosphere, and it makes it easier to approach the teachers, ask questions, have interesting discussions. There is an international classroom, so this means that you would be studying along with other exchange students, international degree-seeking students, and local degree-seeking students as well. And this ensures the quality of the courses, but your experience as well. And then our semester and study periods. This is probably where we differ compared to many other universities. Usually in the university, you have a number of courses that run in parallel throughout the semester, and then you have an exam period in the end. In Linköping University, it's a bit different. We have study periods for 5 weeks each period, and then you take one course during those 5 weeks. You finish the course, you write the exam in the end of this period, and then you go on to the next course. And this may be a bit strained in the beginning, and may be a bit intensive as well, but most students come to appreciate it. And the good part about it is that they focus on one course, one module, and after 5 weeks, they're done with it. They don't have to reach the end of the semester and the exam period and be stressed about having exams on 6 or 5 or 7 courses at the same time. So it works well. Examination, yeah, as I said, it's in the end of each period, and it can take different forms. You have the traditional written exams, you have home take exams, you have assignments, group assignments, and so on. And what's important is that we have lectures, and then we have seminars, and that's in all courses. And the difference with seminars is that obviously they're smaller groups and they're more focused, and you need to be prepared. The important thing is that they are mandatory, so you need to attend them in order to pass the course. And one other thing that we're proud as a university, and you should expect from us, is support in every step. So from thinking to come for exchange studies in Linköping to the application to coming here, we will make sure that we're there and support you in everything you need. Now, as I said, we're called Linköping University, and the main campus is located in Linköping. I'll talk a bit more about the city, but I'd like to show you this film. Hopefully, I'm not sure if it's going to work now. Let's try it and let me know if you can hear it or see it well.
Is there sound with it?
Yeah, there is sound. So
Okay, I'm not hearing any sound at the moment.
okay, let me.
I think when you share a video, there should be a music mode option.
Yes, let me share again my screen and try to activate exactly what you said. So let's try it one more time. If it doesn't work, we'll leave it and doesn't seem to work. So I will just skip this. I'm really sorry, but I will send you the material anyway, so you can watch the video later. So just to have a better understanding about Linköping and where we are. This is the southern part of Sweden. So Linköping is here. It's located 200 kilometers from Stockholm. And I would say that it's very well placed because not only it's close to Stockholm, about one and a half hours by train, but it's close to all big urban centers in Scandinavia. So Gothenburg, which is the second biggest city in Sweden, Malmö down here, the third biggest city, Copenhagen, the capital of Denmark, and Oslo, the capital of Norway. And all of those urban centers are you can reach them by train in 2 or 3 hours. So this is a great advantage of Linköping. Now, apart from that, and this is probably where it is different compared to Edmonton, Linköping is about 160,000 people, so it's significantly smaller than Edmonton. But this is not a negative thing, I would say. This is a picture I found online from Edmonton. High buildings, densely built, and this is a similar picture about Linköping. So you can see the difference. There are low buildings. The city is it's more spread out. It's not so densely built, and there are. And I think this is common, a common thing with Edmonton. There's quite a lot of green pockets within the city, parks and small forests, and of course, nature is accessible always within 5-10 minutes by bike. We have a canal that runs through the city, and it gives a lot of character. It's a very popular place all year round, especially though in summer, to take a walk, to go kayak, many different activities that happen there. And of course, the city has to offer a lot of other activities and attractions. We have the Linköping City Festival, Festival, which is orchestras from all over Sweden come to Linköping and they play music. And now I'm talking about festivals, and I'm fully aware that Edmonton is the festival capital of Canada, so I'm not looking to compare there, to compete or compare there. But we have probably not that much as in Edmonton, but we have quite a lot. Then, as I said, nature is quite close. You have activities like trip top adventure. You have cruises along the canal, and this that will make you feel like home. There is a hockey club, and it plays in the National League. It does fairly well, and it's very popular in the city as well. So if you want to get a bit outside the city, you will find forests, you will find lakes, you will find sea, you will find sandy beaches. So there are a lot of different sceneries, a lot of different kind of activities to do. What will make the biggest difference, I think, compared to Edmonton is this. These pictures are taken, the one on the left is from the campus, and so is the right top one, and the right bottom one is taken from the city center. So bike is a big thing in Linköping. Everyone goes around by bike, and that applies to students, that applies to locals, older, younger, it doesn't matter. Everyone has a bike. And what most exchange students do is they buy a second-hand bike, which is fairly cheap, something like maybe $100, $120. I'm not really sure about the currency, the exchange rate right now, but I wouldn't expect to be much more expensive than that. And the infrastructure is great. So you can bike literally everywhere, and you can bike even during winter. You need to have the right clothing, of course, and you need to be careful. But bike lanes, the municipality tries to have them clean always. So even if it has snowed over during the night, probably at 6, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, bike lanes will be clean. And this gives a very nice feeling in the city. And I know that everyone that comes to Linköping as a student, as a professional, as whatever, they really appreciate this part of life. Talking about student life, Linköping is very well known for having very vibrant student life. As I said, the city is not too big, it's 160,000 people. So this makes it easy for students to form groups, to meet easily, to explore the city all together. And one big thing in Linköping is the welcome period, and we have a number of student associations. These uniforms you see, they call them overalls, and each association has its own uniform. And they organize a lot of activities. Those two organizations, ISA and ESN, focus specifically on exchange students. So they take care of the welcome period, they organize the activities, they organize trips during the semester as well, parties. So it's probably the best way to meet people and to integrate into the local student life. Now, when it comes to accommodation, accommodation is not on campus, but it's in an area which is 7 to 10 minutes by bike. It's very accessible. The campus is very accessible from that area, and it's the area that the vast majority of students live, both international and local students. That area is called Reed. As I said, it's 7 to 10 minutes by bike to campus, and then maybe 15 minutes by bike to the city center. So it's very well located. The forest is nearby. And what we offer is what we call corridor rooms. That's think it like this: that it's a corridor, and there are rooms on either side, and there are 8 rooms. So you share a flat, with another 7 people. Each room has a private bathroom, and it's about 20-25 square meters. And then there is a common living room and a common kitchen. The kitchen is well equipped. Probably you will need you would need to buy a few things, but it's quite well equipped and it's functional. And this is vital in Linköping, and I will explain in a moment why. Now, when it comes to accommodation, the room includes heating, water, electricity, and in some cases includes internet as well. And the rent is about 4,000 Swedish kronor. Now, I can't really make that in Canadian dollars, but 4,000, around 4,000 Swedish kronor. Now, I talked about the kitchen and why kitchens in your corridor rooms in accommodation are vital. Now, what you see here is a kitchen on campus. Each campus building has one of those. So this is a student kitchen. You have the microwaves, you have tables where you can sit in it, you have the sinks. Why do we have this? Although there are many options when it comes to food on campus, so you have food trucks, you have restaurants, you have different kind of options. The truth is that it's not financially sustainable to eat out all the time. The prices are not what you would call student friendly. So what most students do is to cook at home and take a lunchbox with them. And this is the space where they all meet in at lunchtime and they eat. So what you see is empty now. There are huge lines at 12. And this is the cheapest, most common, and probably best way to eat and to live well as a student in Linköping. So this part, because coming as a student, I mean, coming from Canada, all the way from Canada to Linköping, I guess that Linköping is not the only thing that you would like to see. You would like to travel around. And again, Linköping is quite well placed when it comes to that. Obviously, as I said before, student organizations organize trips, different trips, and you can travel with them. But you have the opportunity to organize trips by yourselves. And there are different options. As I said, Stockholm is about 200 kilometers away, 1.5, 2 hours by train, and there you have Arlanda Airport, which is the biggest airport in the country, so you can get a plane to literally everywhere. Then you have obviously Linköping City Airport, and I have it here because it's very convenient, but it has a connection only with Amsterdam. And although this may seem a bit odd or not that useful, the good thing about it is that you can catch the plane from Linköping to Amsterdam, and then Amsterdam is a huge hub, so you can get a flight to pretty much everywhere, or even a train if you want to travel in Central Europe. And then something which is a big plus is Stockholm Skavsta Airport. This is a small airport located 90 minutes from Linköping, and this is where all the low-cost airlines fly to and from. So you have Ryanair, Wizz Air, airlines like this. And you have a good variety of destinations as well. And obviously, you have cheap flights. And the good thing about Skavsta is that there is a tailor-made bus that connects Skavsta and Linköping. So you show that if you book a plane from Skavsta, you will have always a bus to take you there. And when you come back, you will have a bus to bring you back. So last thing that I would like to say is about health and the healthcare system in Sweden, because all of these things are fun, but the possibility of getting sick, it's always there. So to begin with, as non-European students, you will need to have comprehensive health insurance. And this is required by the migration agency as well in order to grant you the resident permit to enter Sweden. So this is one thing. Then the university doesn't have a health service in itself. Students are referred to the national healthcare system. And you get there or you reach them in a number of ways. Your first point of contact would be this 1177. This is a hotline. You call them when you feel sick and you get a nurse. They give you a first diagnosis or advice what to do. And this is available in English as well, and it's open 24/7. A second point of contact is local health clinics. So in each area in the city, there is a local health clinic which you can visit. Read, for example, where the student area is, there is a health clinic there. And there you can find any doctor you may need. And as a student, you can book an appointment with them and visit the doctor. Now, how it works is that you usually pay the cost and then you claim the money back from your insurance policy. Now, what I would like you to remember from all this very long presentation, as I said before, probably if you're watching this or if you are here now, you're interested or thinking about going on an exchange. And what I would say is that it doesn't matter if you come to Linköping or not, but go on an exchange. It will be a life-changing experience. It will broaden your horizons. It will really be one of the greatest things that you do in your lives. So no matter where, just go on an exchange. If you decide to come to Linköping University, what you should expect from us, as I said, support in every step, academic excellence, and a vibrant and fun student life. I have a number of links here, which I think are useful. And the last link is my email. Feel free to contact me at any point with any question you may have, no matter whether it concerns academics or other issues. And that's it.